thing that kind of really got it going again for me, obviously a lot of people know, but like when I had Ice Wars. And Ice Wars was cool because it was the first time in a long time.
What is Ice Wars for those that don't know?
Yeah, okay, so Ice Wars is essentially what happened was there's a hockey fighting tournament on ice. So that's all it was. There's no hockey. It was just fighting on ice. So essentially UFC on skates. And so the first one that they had done, it kind of was coming out, and obviously I ended up doing Ice Wars. But just the big thing that changed everything for me and kind of pushed me towards the mentality of even considering coming out of retirement was having that date on the wall. Having that date on the calendar, like I knew, okay, on May, I think it was like May 6th or something, whatever date it was, May 20th, this is the day that I'm fighting. And it was like, okay, I have to bear down and train my ass off from this day. And I just dialed in, and it was the first time in a long time where I was just like had this savage routine where it was just like 3 days at three different times of the day. I had the full workout already structured. I knew everything I was eating, and like my body was in tip-top shape again, and it felt so good. And then I got there, and it was like, when I won, I felt like I had already known that I had won just because of how hard I trained. Like it was like, I kind of got there, and then I was kind of like, okay, now what? When's the next date? You know what I mean? Like the exact same thing. It's like you get there and you get this great reward of like, okay, I got everything I put into this, it paid off, and I got this, and then you enjoy it, and then you kind of recome to the standard, and you're kind of like, where's the next date? You know what I mean? You're kind of, and I think that's just life in general. It's kind of a cool lesson in life in general. Like having something in a direction that you need to go is very crucial, because you can just float around forever and not go in one direction. Just pay the bills and do this. But if you don't have something to work towards, then you're not gonna move towards it. So I feel like it is a cool life lesson, but it was a big part of what got me playing hockey again, and putting dates on the, I feel like constantly putting dates on the wall of things to aim for and goals to have and stuff like that. So
what did your training look like for that though?
It was pretty intense. So like in the mornings I would do a lift. So I do, go do like my weight training stuff, a lot of like power and speed and core stuff. And then I would go around like, that would be like 6 a.m. I'd eat, have a little bit of rest, and then around like 10-ish, like 10:30, I would get on the ice and I'd do a bag skate. And that was like, my bag skate was pretty well, I wouldn't say every day. It was like a couple days a week, few days a week, just to be on the ice.
No pucks, just a bag skate.
No, well, yeah, honestly, I was in a mini rink, and I would have a timer set, and I would go 1 minute down and backs on the mini rink. So it's like not like you're skating, you're stopping and starting lots. And I would down and back for a minute as hard as I could, and then I would rest and then let my heart rate come back down. I'd go down and back because it was 1 minute rounds. And I would just do that. I would set a timer, and I would just down and backs. And then later that night, I would drive out to my gym in Surrey, my friend's gym, and do boxing and just train my hands and stuff and my speed. And it was fun, and it felt good. Like I was fully committed. I had amazing sponsorship behind me that gave me the ability to just fully dial in for the fights. I couldn't have done it without all the people that supported me, which is amazing. I think a lot of the people that seen kind of where I was, like what I was coming out of, and like my retirement and the depression and all the stuff that makes being retired hard, and the regular struggles I feel like that lots of guys go through on their way out of the game, to kind of have an opportunity to get out of it and prove that, you know what I mean, I can get out of this. And I think so I had a lot of support. A lot of people came up and were like, oh my God, Amesbury's doing this? No way. Like, I seen that guy a few years ago. There's no way. I was probably 240 pounds fat. Like, there's no way he's doing this now. And I was dialed in, and people seeing how dialed in it was. So it was cool to see a lot of people kind of step up and support me during it and give me the ability to train like I did. And it was a very grueling camp. But when I got there, it was the fighting was the easy part, because I was in such good shape. I feel like by the time I got to the finals, it was almost like a cheat code, because I just had so much more cardio left. I had so much more gas in the tank. So we had to fight 3 times in one night. So. And
you went back-to-back years winning, correct?
Yeah, I won all 3. So
any big names that you took down?
Yeah, so I fought in round 1, Derek Parker, who's like a LNAH guy, played in the Quebec Fighting League, and I think he had like 500 pro fights in the Quebec League. Like obviously that's a pretty tough league. So I fought him first round, and that was for sure my hardest fight. We had a battle. I won that one in the overtime round. He won 1 round, I won 1 round. We went into a tiebreaker. They had a tiebreaker round, and I won that round.
Is there a strategic reason why they pair you off, or just luck?
It was random. It was a random draw. And, the fact that me and him got put in the first round, we were probably like, pretty top caliber guys in the whole group, and we got matched up in the first round. So it was pretty intense. Like, everyone was kind of like, whoa. You know what I mean? To have that could have potentially been a finals fight. And then second round, Chase Tippin, obviously Federal League heavy enforcer. He's been around for, anybody that's been around the Fed knows who Chase Tippin is. He was around as long as I was. He was playing when I was a rookie, I think, in the Fed. So he had tons of pro fights under his belt. Big boy also. They're both pretty big boys. And then in the finals, it was Sawyer, who... Sawyer, I fought him in the Central League in, 2013, 2014, in those years. And he's 6'6", I think he was like 290 pounds. He's a big boy.
At the time you're fighting?
At the time we fought him. No, at the time we fought him, like, he was a big, big boy. So it was cool, man. Like, everyone that I fought was like legit. Like, it wasn't like, they didn't just pick some guys up, The guy somehow got matched up with some of the top guys with experience. So it was cool, man. It was a really fun experience, and like I said, I feel like I got rewarded for the work that I put in. So
you're saying it's not like Joe Pace and the Seawolves going down to Carolina, half the team doesn't show up and they're pulling guys out of the crowd?
No,
Can you
man.
play D tonight?
No, it wasn't like that. It was cool though to the first event. I feel like even to this day, I feel like the first event was the best one. I came back the second one, but the first event I feel like had the best like. The tournament had like the most like the best roster, I would say. Lots of experience, lots of games played. It was a good time too. We had a blast after. I try and explain this to people. Imagine going on a road trip with a team full of hockey fighters, like just the enforcers, a whole team of them in the same hotel. So just imagine what that was like. And then we finish our event, and then everybody goes to the bar. And that was what it was. It was
a good time.
A hockey team of enforcers. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, and it was cool to see just how everybody got along. Everybody beat the crap out of each other, and then we all went out and had a time. And my mom's sitting there shaking Sawyer's hand. She's a picture with Sawyer. My mom's like freaking 4 feet tall. She's got a picture beside Sawyer. She's up to his hip, and I remember before the fight, she shook his hand because I knew him for years, right? She shook his hand and she comes up to me after. She's like, "Oh my God, have you seen how big his hands are?" I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, Mom. Like, thanks. Like, that's what I want to hear right now. The day before I'm gonna have to fight this guy, like, how big his hands are." Like, I'm well aware. Yeah, I'm well aware. Yeah. So, but it was a really good time. It was fun.
We do a hockey podcast called Sling the Biscuit every single Sunday. The clips, the bite-sized chunks are right here. Only the hits, the full-length show, which you don't want to miss, is right here. That's Dave. I'm Travis. We'll see you soon.